Richard Faulkner, founder and CEO of Compass Tenders, compasstenders.com. And you, being the founder and CEO of Compass Tenders, just absolutely, again, a pleasure and honor to be working with you, Richard, and thank you so much for taking the time. With over 55 custom tender projects and an average length of 55 meters over the past 10 years, which is just, I mean, what an accomplishment. And it just,
Thank you.
incredible, my friend. And I'm sure you can discuss each one in details. Are there any that you look at during that approximate 10-year time as both personal and then company tipping points, so to speak, or turning points that perhaps inspired you in a certain way or pushed you to take Compass Tenders in a different or elevated direction?
That's a very good question. Now,
Thank you.
the standout tender for us really was Tango, um, which was a combination, a project which had two tenders. It had a limousine tender and a D-rib tender. We had built some D-ribs that had been successful for other projects or other boats, particularly 777. And the client originally came to us for a D-rib. They were expecting to get their limousine tender built somewhere else, and they weren't getting on particularly well, it would appear, with what they thought the person was going to build their limousine tender. And then completely out of the blue, they rang me up on Friday and said, would you be able to build a limousine tender for us? We're getting on well with you, pre-contract. Can you get back to us on Monday? So I spent the weekend sorting out, building them, in my mind, a limousine tender, how we were going to do it, and the price. Got back to them on the Monday, and that was received very well. And pretty much off we went building that boat. Now that boat, that limousine tender, was quite unique in its styling, with ice guard Harrison styling, and we had a really good time building that boat. It allowed me to, securing that contract allowed me to expand my business and get my chief designer, Ed Wingate, involved and hired, basically. And that was a tipping point for me personally. That project went really well. It was managed by Evanston, and the project manager was, everybody was so pleased with that project. We ended up moving on with him to his next project, which was Madame Goo, where we built a open sports tender at 11 meters and a limousine tender at 11 meters. Both the Madame Goo and the Tango projects won Best Tender of the Year in the Boat International Neptune Awards.
Congratulations,
So
fantastic.
those projects really started the snowball, basically, and it reinforced our importance to a client's credibility. Our credibility was established. It wasn't so much of a risk or a experiment to come to us to build limousine tenders from that point.
Right.
So we moved pretty quickly on to building some other fantastic limousine tenders, to be quite honest.
Oh, they're amazing. They're amazing. I could spend an entire day watching the videos. They're each and every one is, I mean, they're a work of art, really, and that's what you are in your own right, of course, as you are some of the greatest artists on the planet.
That's yeah. I mean, that they all are unique in their own way. They all represent strong elements of the mothership styling and design, or styling really, both inside and out. In the interiors and the exteriors. We're trying to create, you know, little jewels, really. You know, that's
Right. And that must
the
be,
philosophy or the idea. You know.
and that
So
must
it's
be,
something the owner can be very proud of, and also the key is to make them robust, so but elegant, so they can be operated sensibly by the crew.
absolutely. And something, very good point, that the owner can be very proud of to the extent that they're as proud of it as they are of the mothership, because it is this bespoke, unique, crafted, again, work of art that mirrors the mothership, which is one of their greatest, as I've spoken to many builders and yacht brokers about, the mothership, the yachts that they have had built or purchased are to a certain extent one of the greatest accomplishments in their lives. It's like one of those, it's the grand objective perhaps after after an illustrious business career or whatever it might be. And so then for you to be in that very fortunate, unique, amazing position to create this work of art that is then a mirrored reflection of one of the most important aspects of their life, that must be so rewarding and fulfilling.
Yeah, I mean the tender that is often the first experience that the owner or his guests, have of the mothership when it comes to pick them up from the dockside to take them out to the boat at anchor. Um, that's the most likely scenario I would suggest. So the whole experience of the mothership starts with a tender,
Right.
and getting aboard that, whether it's an open boat or whether it's a limousine tender, um, you know, the experience starts then.
Right. Very, very, very good point. And along with the inspiration coming from the mothership, as you are creating, whether it's a limousine tender or an open, as you mentioned, are you working hand in hand with each of the owners and clients along the way? And do you find that you get a lot of your design inspirations directly from the owners?
The inspiration generally comes from the mothership, the styling of the mothership, which we develop our design from on a known platform, uh, which gives the known platform will give security in the naval architecture and the systems design. So that's basically where we start from. If the mothership has a traditional bow to it, a raked back bow, we'll start with a limousine hull that has, that we've used, likely used before, and then develop the styling on that known hull. Same if it's got a vertical bow. We'll look to to use a known platform as a starting point. Doesn't always happen that way. We're doing a proposal at the moment for a mothership that has, the knuckle or the bit on the waterline sticks actually a little bit further forward than deck level. So that's a new hull. The owner's decided that's the direction he wants to go. He wants it, the limousine tender to match the profile of the mothership as much as possible. It's got pretty unique styling.
And how rewarding to then deliver each and every compass tender to the client, to the mothership, with the inspiration coming from the mothership itself and from all points.
Yeah, it is extreme. Every tender is rewarding in its own separate little way. They're all important to us. However small, big they are, they're extremely important. You never know where a project's, once it's finished, where it's going to lead.
Right.
People might buy different boats. The project managers all move around. The captains move around somewhat. So you have to treat every project as a special project, and they hand on heart, they always are.
Hand on heart. Very well said. That's beautiful.
So Yeah, and it is cool seeing them, um, seeing them alongside the mothership, and realizing that that you've taken bits and pieces of that design and introduced it into the tenders. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's wrong to um, do design details completely for the sake of it. They all have to have a reason, and you don't actually have to take that many details to have a strong impact.
Very right. Very well said. If you can, or I would love it if you wouldn't mind elaborating on the cats and landing crafts that you've been building.
Yeah. So um, we built the first landing craft we built was for quite a famous mothership called Flying Fox. That again was a good project. Then we were approached by another that originally went on a shadow boat called 6711. Then we were approached by another shadow boat project, and we built a second landing craft. The feedback from the owner of that landing craft was that he originally didn't realise why he bought it. It was shown in the renderings of the model of the shadow boat, and he just ticked the box. I think
Right.
along this landing craft came, and he was I wouldn't say he was surprised he got it, but he was a bit unsure. Anyway, his daughters basically commandeered the landing craft, and it became a very favourite family tender.
Huh.
He used it. He loved it as well. He could see, his family enjoying it, swimming from it, jumping off the bow door, going to the beach, and he quickly ordered another one to go on the mothership of his next boat with his improvements.
What a great story.
Yeah, he's developed himself with his family um, based on what they've learned from their previous one, and it was the first tender he ordered for the next boat, basically.
Huh. That's great.
So um, we're on landing craft number 4 at the moment, and that the next one will get delivered this summer. They're I think the owners like them. They like the versatility of them. I mean, they go along well. They do speed along nicely. They're very comfortable, and they're a bit SUV type,
Mm-hmm.
type of car. They handle well, water jets, safe. Um, Kick a decent wake up for wakeboarding as well, which is quite interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, so good fun boats, enjoyed by all in the family, and they get anchored off. They tend to get anchored off. It's like water sports platforms. That's what we learn.
Huh.
Particularly in when clients were using their boats during the COVID times, they didn't clearly want anybody going ashore, and moving out of the sort of emerging commons bubble. So they would take the landing craft, anchor it, and just use it as a base to do paddleboarding, bit of jet skiing from, bit of swimming, snorkeling, big enough to have lunch on, that sort of thing. Without all the kids have lunch on it.
Right.
So it became a little satellite arrangement. So landing craft's good. Moving on to the cats. Now the cats are a game changer, absolute game changer. They are big platforms, very very comfortable, at high speed, 40 knots, dry, comfortable. Again, like a big SUV. Um, Once they have one, it's hard for them to get on another tender. Again, fantastic for water sports hanging out on beach stuff, and we've put heads compartments in them, reasonable galleys, fridge storage, and a great boat to have some fun times on if you want to move away from the mothership a little bit for an afternoon,
right?
And an evening, take a barbecue to the beach. They're great, and you can achieve general tender runs to harbours in them nicely, comfortable, not going to rock around. They're really hot game changers.
And so thus a game changer because they have such, along with everything you discussed, that then correlating with simply their capacity and their capabilities, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. That must be exciting. I mean, it must be so exciting to.
They are particularly exciting boats. We delivered boat 2 of our sort of production of that type of boat, and it's once it goes out to press, it's a very unique looking boat again. Very cool and unique.
It must be also very exciting to then, you slightly touched upon it, but then to see these new very exciting projects, and then also the limousine tenders, etc., but to see them as they appear in media, social media, etc., whether it's alongside the mothership or cruising along their own in various spots throughout the world, correct?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we look out for it. We're for some projects we are constrained with what we're allowed to present to the general public or to other potential owners or clients' teams, which is somewhat frustrating, but that's the hand you're given
right
when you sign a contract, and we have to respect that. And yeah, we're looking forward to the first catamaran. We can't say too much about the second one. We're allowed to. So as soon as the client's been on board and witnessed it and felt it for his own use, then we'll start being able to let the world know about it.
Looking forward to it. I would hope that Rocks will be sending us some imagery and whatnot when the time is right, so that we can do a beautiful feature on it.
Yeah.
Another...
Sure she will.
Can't wait. And another question, which again you slightly touched upon for a second, is as the industry is of course experiencing and has been experiencing, this relatively unprecedented moment in time since after that slight oh no what's going to happen moment in March, April of 2020. What have you personally seen? What has Compass seen and experienced since say May or June of 2020?
Yeah, I mean that was difficult times for everybody, and we all were worried about what the outcome would be regarding that the pandemic, which is still somewhat going on. Now, we did sign some projects that summer. We actually signed the catamaran tender on over the Easter of the pandemic, basically, and that was a big relief to me.
Right.
Because that told me that the market was going to go forward. The client we had been talking to had actually accelerated his process. From what I've seen, people have pressed the button on projects quicker than they normally would do, and they've taken the view that life is somewhat fragile sometimes, and you've got to basically get on with the things that you want to do.
Exactly.
And not pontificate and decide to tick the boxes that you've got on your list. So we have seen a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but a fair number of our existing clients have bought new boats or are building new boats at the moment, and are surprising. in some cases quite quickly after they've taken delivery of a new boat.
Exactly.
Press the button for another one, you know.
And
Used
what
it for decided that the things that are important to them. They've also spent more time on their boats than they probably were expecting to.
And in that, right, it's one of the, in my personal opinion, and this of course directly correlates with the industry. It's one of those. It's one of the most important silver linings of the pandemic that would not have perhaps occurred without something as significant as a pandemic or the pandemic, because it pushed people to take a step back and really realize, as you just touched upon, that life is precious, each and every moment counts, and there really is no better way on the planet to experience those precious moments with friends and family than on your yacht, and then of course with your compass tender and your
Yeah.
right.
Well, it's extremely, you can create an extremely safe environment within a place in the globe that you choose, you know.
Right, exactly. And it also, and then as I've spoken to many about it, then and as you so aptly said, it to a certain extent then forces people that were really just in this continuous go 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 mentality, and it was simply on a bucket list, so to speak. But then push them to realize that if you don't do it now, you may never do it. And then once you do it, realizing this is something I should have done years ago, but now that I have done it, I'm going to continue to do it. And as you also said, then it's not only with this one yacht, I'm going to purchase the second yacht and the third, etc., so that I can use them in different ways throughout different parts of the globe.
Yeah, and it's a way of getting your family together, isn't it? And making sure that that you do see them,
That's exactly.
We're also becoming very family orientated. That's what we're seeing.
Right. I like that. Making sure that you do see them when you get them together.
Yeah, I mean,
they can't.
They're contained on the boat and on the tenders, aren't they? And the thoughts of going ashore might not be quite as strong as they used to be,
Right. Though those are starting to, of course, come back, but still exactly. It's why? Looking at the shore is perhaps good enough. And then also when you have a compass cat or a landing craft, etc., and then you can do. I love how you touched upon with the cats that you can do wakeboarding and water sports and whatnot.
Yeah. Try new things.
And so when someone first is in the very fortunate position to have discovered you, Richard, and discovered Compass Tenders, then really quickly, because I know I've already been very fortunate to have 25 minutes of your time, what is the process then, and currently with the number of projects that you have going on, what is I know each one varies, of course, but what is the current average time from start to finish, and what is that process like with Compass Tenders?
So from an initial inquiry, we would produce a proposal document, which would include either sketches or renderings of the tender we're proposing. That would be based on a client's wish list provided by the broker, project manager, client's office. Our proposal would go forward. We'd expect there to be other proposals from other tender builders. If we were selected to go the next step, then we'd likely produce we would produce a detailed specification, send our build contract over, double check the fit of the tender within a tender garage. We'd have expected to have received the garage details in a previous, inquiry at the beginning. But double check that because that's important. And then I would expect that process to achieve the point where we can go to contract, would say between 2 and 3 months. Then, dependent on what we've got in production, I would expect to start building that boat to 3 to 4 months after the contract's on. If it's a limousine tender and it's on a known platform, it's the quickest we could build it for a 10-meter type limousine tender would be 15 months. We'd sort of be expecting 18 months. An open tender generally, like a monohull open tender, is a year's build. For us, catamaran is 18 months to the point where we can do the final sea trials and acceptance to advance to.
And once you get to those sea trials, what an exciting moment, correct?
Definitely.
And are you able to participate in each of those?
I endeavour to, and I'm always involved in that. Always, actually, yeah. It's part of the looking after the client side of things, and it's important,
Absolutely.
As I said before, it doesn't matter how big or small a tender project is, they're all important to us. I recognise it.
What an amazing company that you have created, Richard.
Well, thank you, and I hope at some point when you're in the Europe or in England, you can come and visit us and see everything for yourself.
Would absolutely love to. Thank you very much for the invitation. That would be thrilling and it would be an honor. So thank you for extending that. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have, or anything that we didn't touch upon that we should have before I let you go?
No, I think that covers our the company, our philosophy, and we're always looking forward. We're always looking forward. The next thing really is going to be alternative power sources. I'm not personally convinced that electric tenders are the way forward. I'm interested in seeing how the hydrogen power source, how that works out and how that becomes available for use with tenders.
Absolutely. And it looks like that is accelerating, correct, with respect to, yeah.
We'll see. As I said, I'm not totally convinced electric tenders are the fully electric with batteries is the way. That's just a personal opinion.
I can understand. I believe I can understand why. Richard Faulkner, not only the CEO, but founder of Compass Tenders, encompassing.com. Thank you so much for taking the time. Again, it's a pleasure to speak with you. It's a pleasure to work with you. I hope we're able to do this again in the upcoming months, depending on your incredibly busy schedule. And thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Bye now.
Have a great day.
Yeah, and you have a